Okay, shout out to Trevor Paxton on Twitter who shared this on his Twitter. I will not overreact to a Suns loss. I will not overreact to a Suns loss. Suns fans, take a deep breath. Calm down. Everything will be fine. I hope. Okay, I'll just start this off. We definitely ran out of gas in the final 7 minutes of the fourth quarter. We definitely did. I understand your frustration. But I'll just say this, Suns fans, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm stupid. I'm kind of optimistic here. This was just a really bad shooting night for the Phoenix Suns. And the referees were pretty much terrible for the most part. And we only lost by 10? It was a bad shooting night all around for both teams. And we definitely ran out of gas late in the game. Even at one point in the fourth quarter, I was like, yeah, this game's over. We just ran out of gas. And I tweeted this out right before I went live, Suns fans. I said, you cannot start the fourth quarter shooting 0 for 9. Let me repeat that. You cannot start the fourth quarter shooting 0 for 9. I'm just throwing that out there. The shooting was miserable tonight. It was pretty much like Devin Booker out there by himself. Thank goodness Jamal Murray was pretty damn bad, which, by the way, I have some thoughts on Jamal Murray later. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I don't know, you guys. I'm a little optimistic. We played a pretty decent game besides the shooting, maybe up until the fourth quarter. Our defense was absolutely incredible, especially in the first half, you guys. And it was great on a Jamal Murray, for example. So, you guys, we're going to dive all into this. Thank you for choosing to be here today on Suns Geek. I really appreciate it, you guys. Do me a huge favor if you're watching. Hulk smash that like button. Please subscribe. And again, thank you guys for being here. And shout out to Trevor Paxton on Twitter for that hilarious I will not overreact Suns picture. So we're going to dive into this, you guys. We're going to dive into the numbers and just talk about this game. As always, I like to kind of just go over some notes that I just took early on. Then we'll dive into the numbers and everything. So it's going to be a great show. Once again, you guys, Hulk smash that like button and just try not to overreact. I'm seeing a lot of overreacting in the timeline on Twitter. I'm seeing a lot of overreacting in my comment section right now. So just take a deep breath, Suns fans. It's going to be okay. It's a 7-game series. So let's start off. The Phoenix Suns were a lot more physical and aggressive to start the game. And I think that was one of the biggest standouts. Besides the poor shooting, they were playing more physical. They were faster. They were getting good looks. The shots just weren't going in. And I really feel like that is a big story about this game, really sort of for both teams. I feel like mainly on the Phoenix Suns side of things. Just the shots were not falling. Bismack Biyombo was first off the bench. Lots of three-pointers missed. I'm going to talk about the three-pointers later. The Suns had 10 threes up early by the 10-minute mark of the second quarter. Again, they just weren't going in. The Denver Nuggets went on a whole bunch of runs in this game. Devin Booker was spectacular in the third quarter, where he had 14 points in that third quarter. But Nikola Jokic just proved that even if you play excellent defense on him, he's going to score the ball. And we're definitely going to have the Deandre Ayton conversation later, because Deandre Ayton did all that he could, and Jokic still got buckets. He still scored. He's a 2-time MVP for a reason. So we're going to dive into it here, you guys. I just truly am trying to stay optimistic after a loss like that. I feel better than I did after game 1. I'll say that. So let's dive into the numbers here. So I'm going to kind of be reading off both NBA.com and ESPN, just because last time ESPN's stats were delayed or whatever. So I'm going to show this graphic here and you guys can take a look at it. And I am going to refresh it. So hopefully everything's up to date and everything. So Again, you guys, we only lost by 10 points. I just want to throw that out there. We only lost by 10. If the Suns don't start the fourth quarter shooting 0 for 9, and if the Suns actually could have made some damn threes, which I have been preaching about since before the season ended, maybe this is a completely different ball game. So let's read you guys some numbers real quick. They won the rebounding battle by 2. We had 23 assists. You kind of want that to be a little bit higher, in my personal opinion. We only had 9 turnovers in this game, too. The Nuggets only had 10. So turnovers weren't really a problem, in my opinion. We shot 40% from the field. Now, one thing that cannot happen, and this is where basketball makes no sense. This is where great offense trounces great defense. They shot 47% from the field tonight. And the Suns had pretty much excellent defense for the most part. Both teams, were atrocious from 3 tonight. And I just want to make sure I'm getting the numbers correct. Let me just refresh the ESPN page. I'm working on multiple screens here, you guys. So if you see me looking around, it's just because I got multiple screens going on. I think the Suns shot like 6. Oh my God. You guys, the Suns shot 6 for 31 from 3 tonight. 6 for 31. The Nuggets shot 7 for 27 from 3, which is good enough for 26% and 19%. Ooh, and another factor here, you guys, and I know I sound like a typical biased Suns fan here. I'm just going over the numbers. The Suns didn't even get to the free throw line in the first half and finished the game 5 for 5 from the free throw line. And that goes both ways, you guys. It goes on the Suns for not being aggressive enough and getting to the, or at least attempting to get to the line a little bit more. But also it goes on some pretty damn poor officiating, which later there's one play in particular that I want to react to that kind of went viral. It was a missed Devin Booker, or a missed call on Devin Booker, I should say. So let's keep going here. We talked about the rebounding. By the way, the Suns had 11 offensive rebounds in this game. I think that is a huge improvement. I already talked to you guys about the assists, only 10 turnovers. Points in the paint, we got absolutely crushed. Nikola Jokic had a lot to do with that, 48-30. And the Suns had 25 fouls. You can't foul 25 fouls compared to just 16. So I wanted to read you those numbers real quick. So let's go down the list here. And, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to go down the list and just talk about players. Let's start with Kevin Durant. And yes, even though he had a pretty rough game, I have to do it just because it's Kevin freaking Durant. We got to play his drop. Let's talk about Kevin Durant. Okay. Kevin Durant definitely struggled. I think it's safe to say that. I mean, he shot 10 for 27 and he only had 24 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 fouls. 44 minutes, though. And there were some stretches where he was okay, but it seems like really since the playoffs started, in most games, it's like he's sort of impactful, but he's not really leaving like the imprint that like a Devin Booker has been doing, for example. Like we saw Devin Booker's third quarter explosion where he had 14 points. And he just kept attacking and he was getting those shots and he was consistent in the third quarter. We didn't really see that from Kevin Durant, I thought. There was one possession that I thought was pretty good. Devin Booker found Chris Paul in the corner, which, yes, we were going to talk about the Chris Paul injury later. He found Chris Paul in the corner. Chris Paul dished it out to the wide open KD because the floor was spread and KD just drained the 3. That's another thing I kind of noticed was for the most part, the ball really hasn't and isn't really zipping around that much, especially in the first half. I feel like the ball wasn't zipping around and the Suns were just kind of playing a lot of ISO ball. Maybe that was just because of the Nuggets swarming defense. But I do think that Kevin Durant needs to be a little better. And I hate to say that about one of the greatest scorers, one of the greatest players of all time. But you can tell he struggled. 2 for 12 from 3. You guys, I cannot repeat this enough. When those 3-pointers start falling consistently, this team is going to be hard to beat. KD was 2 for 12 tonight. Everybody else didn't hit a 3 besides Booker, who was 4 from 8 from 3. Okogie was 0 for 2, which I think both of those were in the corner and he missed. Chris Paul didn't attempt a 3. Torrey Craig was 0 for 2. Cam Payne was 0 for 4 from 3. And Damian Lee was 0 for 3. And we know Damian Lee can hit those threes. Booker had 4 of them. KD had 2. Those threes got to start falling. Now, look, I tweeted out after game 1, I hope that the Suns launch a million threes, and they did. I mean, they only launched 31, but still, it felt like a million. Obviously, that can hurt you. But it's been weird with the Suns. I wanted them to do that after game 1 because, I mean, how many threes did they have attempted after game 1? And really throughout the Clippers series, the threes weren't really they weren't going up at the rate that you wanted them to be. Unfortunately, tonight was just a bad example of that, about taking too many threes. So the Suns got to find balance there. They got to get the 3-pointers up at a high rate, but they got to be consistent when they're going in. Just real quick, you guys, let's address the elephant in the room here. And I just want to make sure I'm getting this right. Ooh, yikes. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen real quick so you guys can see what I'm looking at here. This is just a little Chris Paul update. Chris Paul obviously did not return to this game. Left the game with a groin injury, which I believe might have happened in the third quarter. So this comes from Tim McMahon from ESPN. I'll zoom in here real quick so you guys can see. Because for some reason, every time I share my Twitter screen, it's always really small. So let me just share this with you guys. Monty Williams said Chris Paul couldn't push off, quote, at all after his groin injury. Suns will learn more about the severity tomorrow. Paul already left the arena. I will say this, though, and I don't want to play doctor here, but they did say on the broadcast it was left groin tightness or something. But what concerns me is Paul already left the arena. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Maybe you guys are more educated with that stuff than I am. I don't know. But that does not sound good. Hopefully it is. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Chris Paul wakes up tomorrow and feels better. I don't know. Just so you know, you guys, we don't play till Friday. So that's 3 days off. So I hope that Chris Paul's okay, and it sucks. I mean, maybe this game swings a little differently if Chris Paul is in there. I don't know. Just throwing that out there. Because there was a few times in this game he was pretty well. I mean, before he went out, he had 8 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds in just 25 minutes. And again, he had a poor shooting night before he went out. So I don't know. I hope he's okay. And we're just gonna have to see what happens with Chris Paul. And you guys know how I do it on this channel. I will keep you guys updated the minute that we hear some kind of Chris Paul news. So make sure to subscribe and follow for more on that. So let's keep going down the list here, you guys. Let's talk about, we really need to have a conversation, and a good conversation. I promise you guys, this isn't going to be just a whole negative live show like it was last time when I was just ranting away about the loss. Let's talk about something that actually was positive tonight. Deandre Ayton.
The Phoenix Suns select Deandre Ayton.
DeAndre Ayton, I think he even said, I don't exactly remember where the quote was or when the quote was, but I think that it was reported that he said he was embarrassed after game 1. And, he even said that the Suns are going to have a completely different game, which throughout most of the game we did, besides our poor shooting. DeAndre Ayton was much better tonight. Now, I'm just going to get negative for a second here. The only thing that sucks, oops, I hit my microphone. The only thing that sucks is that it took a very poor game for DeAndre Ayton to kind of wake up and realize I need to be great every night. I need to be consistent. I need to be engaged every single night. That's what sucks. But that's the only negative I'll talk about Ayton tonight. And don't get me wrong, there were a few times where he struggled and maybe had a silly turnover or overhelped on some defensive plays. But let's talk about what Ayton did well tonight. And for the most part, I thought he was pretty damn excellent on Nikola Jokic. I mean, I'm sorry, Chris Knapp. I gotta put you in timeout, bro. You're just tripping right now. But anyways, sorry to call you out like that, but you're blowing up the comments. And anyways, let's keep it somewhat respectful and let's just debate basketball in a fun way in my chat, everybody. But anyways, Ayton was, I thought Ayton was okay tonight, you guys, and I really mean a good okay. It's just one of those things where because Nikola Jokic is a superstar in this league, because he's a 2-time MVP, he's going to get the fouls. He's going to get those foul calls. There was one play in particular that really stood out to me where Ayton was doing all he could on Nikola Jokic. He was bodying him up. He was in the right spots. And all Ayton did was just put his hand up. He had his arm up too. And Jokic kind of spun around and just, a little bit of contact, and they called the foul. That was when Ayton was smiling at the referees after that. And you know what? Like, what are you going to do? Like, he did all he could on Nikola Jokic for the most part in terms of guarding him, and it just didn't matter. That's how great of a center Nikola Jokic is. Now, I will say, again, I kind of started off a little negative with Ayton. There were some times where Ayton overhelped, or maybe he got a little too relaxed on Nikola Jokic, or maybe he didn't contest enough. There was like a couple plays where Jokic was just standing, let's say, by the 3-point line or even at the free throw line, and he would just kind of hesitate for a minute, and then Jokic would just throw it up. Ayton was just like 2 seconds too late. But beyond that, I thought he did pretty damn good on Nikola Jokic. And it was from the jump that he was going to have a better game. Now, again, the stats don't really back up my case. I mean, he had 14 points in 33 minutes, but he was 7 for 10 from the field. You kind of want to see the rebounds go up a little bit. He only had 8 rebounds, 4 assists. But again, I didn't think that he was that bad. I mean, compared to what he did last game, that is a huge improvement. If we can get this Deandre Ayton through the rest of the series, and if the Suns can actually fucking hit their threes, excuse my language, I try not to cuss on these shows. If they can hit their threes and play that kind of defense that we saw throughout most of this game, I don't know how the Suns don't tie this series. I really don't. And if we could just get some bench help, you guys. What have I been saying on this channel? The bench needs to be huge. They need to put the ball in the basket. I want to make sure I'm reading this right. I mean, I'm not tripping, am I? The Suns only had 4 bench points tonight. Am I crazy? Someone fact check me. I can't talk. Someone fact check me in the comments. Did we only have 4 bench points tonight? What was one of the questions going into this series? Was which bench was going to show up? Well, I'm looking at the numbers right now. Bruce Brown had 9. Jeff Green had 2. Christian Braun, or Brown, however you pronounce it, had 2. Now, I will say this, just pointing this out. They only went 3 deep off their bench tonight. Just throwing that out there. And Michael Malone, their head coach, kind of talked about it, how like they've had time off and they've had lots of days in between games, so they've been able to play their starters a lot and everything. And they're I just don't know how deep they really go past Christian Braun. I mean, Ish Smith in the past has been a Suns killer, Thomas Bryant as well, but they're probably not going to get too many playoff minutes. Thank you guys for correcting me on that. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't losing my mind. The fact that we only got 2. Yeah, Gambino says 2 first, 2 second. Like, that is terrible, you guys. Our bench has to start scoring, man. Michael says everything was good except for that fourth quarter. I pretty much agree with that. I mean, again, there were some terrible calls, and you kind of wish that the 3-point shots were going in, and we don't start the freaking fourth quarter 0 for 9 or whatever the case may be. But all right, let's see. Let's keep going down the list here. We already talked about Chris Paul. I hope he gets better. I hope he's okay. Oh my goodness, how have I gone 22 minutes without talking about Devin freaking Booker? And speaking of Devin Booker, basketball just makes no sense sometimes. How do you have one of the greatest scorers of all time, one of the greatest players of all time, who, did contribute 24 points, but how do you have one of the greatest scorers of all time, and it kind of just feels like Devin Booker was out there by himself? Booker had 35 points in 45 minutes on 14 for 29 shooting. As I mentioned earlier, the 4 threes, with 6 assists, 5 rebounds. Now, he did get in a little bit of foul trouble, had 2 turnovers, but again, that third quarter stretch where he had 14 points in the third quarter and was pretty much trading baskets with Nikola Jokic was excellent. Because in game 1 of this series, he didn't look like Devin Booker. He didn't look like besides Jimmy Butler, the best player in the playoffs thus far. But tonight, I think he reminded us of that. I mean, he did everything that he could tonight to help try to get us to win. It just wasn't enough. I mean, Booker played his heart out. And there were just some calls that didn't go his way, some shots that didn't go his way, especially for the entire Suns team. Get Devin Booker some help, man. Especially with Chris Paul being out. I mean, we hope that he's back by Friday. I hope. I don't know. I'm just refreshing the stats too, because the stats thing on here just trips out. But I thought that Devin Booker was great, you guys. Okay, let's keep going here. The rotations tonight were strange, and that's been the conversation with Monty Williams sort of all season at times, and especially late in the season and throughout the playoffs. I mean, he did it again. He went like 10 deep, 11 deep early. I mean, we saw Ish Wainwright for 2 minutes. That was kind of random. Torrey Craig only played 11 minutes and didn't really do too much. He had a really good offensive rebound in 1 possession. And then again, he had the 2 missed threes. I don't really remember Craig doing much outside of that. I thought Busy was okay here and there, but again, 2 points, 4 boards isn't going to get it done. He had 3 fouls and 1 turnover. Jock Landale showed some hustle out there. Campaign had like a 3-minute stretch where he was good. I think he had like a block and an assist, if I remember correct, and was playing with really good energy, but then played a little too out of control. He got into the foul trouble, shot 1 for 7, 0 for 4 from 3. And then Damian Lee was out there late in the fourth quarter, but couldn't hit a shot to save his life, and he played 26 minutes. The Suns bench just continues to be a mystery. I really don't get it. And real quick, you guys, before we talk about the rest of this, shout out to Iverson Vlogs. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Geek, sorry, but Kevin Durant needs Steph Curry, says Iverson Vlogs. And then big shout out here, you guys. And I do appreciate everybody watching right now. And I thank you guys for getting active in the comments. I do appreciate it. Huge shout out to Andrew for the $20 super chat. You didn't have to do that, my man, but I appreciate you, bro. I've had Andrew on as a call-in guest before, but he says, trade Ayton now. Dude has 5 fouls and he didn't contest Jokic enough. God bless, but I'm fed up. Fan base so toxic. KD had worst playoff game. It was a pretty bad game for KD, but I'm giving him a pass because nobody shot threes that well, including KD. So first off, Andrew, thank you so much for the generous $20 super chat. I appreciate you, brother. God bless you, man. Yeah, basketball just makes no sense. It really doesn't. And I've had to learn to adjust to that as a fan because I'm sort of an old school NBA fan. Like I've studied the history of this league, and it's really a offensive dominant league. And again, just great offense trounces great defense. And I think that we were witness to that tonight. Shout out to my guy Super Mario Hoops, who's been on this channel plenty of times. So Suns undefeated arc starts today. Appreciate you being here, man. Yeah, Andrew, thanks for bringing us up to this next segment. Suns Geek, let's talk about Jamal Murray. Let's definitely talk about Jamal Murray, shall we? I will say this. I thought it was actually kind of funny. When Jamal Murray hit that one shot, I want to say in the fourth quarter, where he like threw his hands up and was like, finally. Even though I troll Jamal Murray and Suns fans troll Jamal Murray and everything, I will say I like that was very self-aware by Jamal Murray. That's hilarious too. Like the fact that he knew he was struggling scoring, and then he finally got that shot to go and was like, finally. That's funny. Props to you, Jamal Murray. But man, look, guys, I know that a lot of you are upset right now, and I understand your frustration, but the Suns did an excellent job on Jamal Murray. You gotta give the Suns that. I mean, he couldn't hit a shot to save his life. He was 0 for 9 from 3. He only had 10 points. I think he had 4 points at halftime and was 1 for 7. He was 3 for 15 in this game. And unlike a Russell Westbrook, for example, didn't really do too much outside of that besides the 8 assists. And even then, he had 3 turnovers. The Suns did a great job of locking him down pretty much. Either that or he was just missing shots. So that was a nice segue into the Jamal Murray conversation. Where's the comment that I need? There we go. Okay. So let's keep going here. Shout out to Bert Rando 850. Appreciate you being here, my man. I still owe you a beer in the future. Don't forget that. He says it boils down to Monty Williams not adjusting. Damian Lee was way off all night, and we have Terrence Ross and TJ Warren wasting away on the bench. Ross can be instant offense. Monty has to be better. So someone in the comments asked me why, can I talk about Terrence Ross and TJ Warren? I don't get it, man. And I'm right there with you on this comment. I don't get it. I mean, Monty Williams saw the way that the Suns were shooting in the first half, and that was a continued trend throughout the game. And you don't even try a Terrence Ross or a TJ Warren. You don't even try. Ish Wainwright got 2 minutes tonight. You know what I mean? Like, and I understand Campaign's coming back from injury, and he needs more minutes or whatever, and you want to see what Damian Lee can do out there, but you don't even try a TJ Warren or Terrence Ross. I mean, Landry Shamet didn't play, if that helps anybody. Just throwing that out there. 4 points from the bench, and Monty Williams doesn't think he should make a change, ? Terrence Ross can score 20 in 10 minutes. I'm not saying he's 100%, I'm not saying he's 100% the answer, but he deserves a shot. Exactly. Jamal Murray missing all those shots would have fit in with the Suns, says Sawbucks. That's so good. No, I agree with you guys, and I'm right there with you. I just wish that as a Suns, content creator or whatever you want to call me, YouTuber, I just wish I had an answer for you. I wish I had and I hope that maybe the media asks Monty about why Warren and Ross aren't sniffing the court. I mean, just throwing that out there. Maybe some media member will raise that question. It would be nice to have some kind of an answer to that. And I wish I could give you guys that answer. Maybe after today's game, Monty Williams says, okay, it's Warren and Ross time. And look, to be fair, I understand if you guys are mad at me for this. To be fair to Monty, though, if he does give Ross and Warren minutes and they aren't producing, then yeah, you bench them. I'm just throwing that out there. Like if we play them in games 3 and 4 and they suck and they're missing shots, then yeah, you bench them. I'm just throwing that out there. So anyways, let's keep going here. Let's talk about the man of the hour. It was a great Nikola Jokic game. This just goes to show how great of a center Nikola Jokic is. Because in game one, even though he was like pretty dominant on the boards and everything, and I think he had a pretty big double-double, it didn't really feel like a very efficient, MVP performance kind of game from Jokic in game one. But tonight, he was incredible. And again, I thought that Ayton was really good on defense. It didn't matter. I mean, he still finished with 39 points in 41 minutes on 17 for 30 shooting, had a couple threes, 16 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals. There was one great defensive possession on both Jokic and Murray, by the way, that I do want to point out. And you know what? We're actually going to react to it because I did upload it. This is the kind of defense that I want to see more of because I think everything went great on this defensive possession. Let me just share my screen real quick and then we'll get to it. I shared this on Twitter, which, by the way, follow me on Twitter, everybody. Okay. So Jokic is posting up right here. Ayton's on him. Now watch KD. KD's under the rim right there, right by Aaron Gordon. Jamal Murray's open in the corner, and Book kind of recognizes that. So Ayton's posting up, or Jokic is posting up on Jokic is posting up on Ayton, excuse me. Jokic attacks. And then you see KD. I'm pausing it right here because he comes in and closes out on Jokic, almost blocks him. Jokic with the beautiful pass over to Murray. And then Booker closes out so well, and Murray fades away and he misses the shot. I thought that was an excellent defensive possession, everybody. But unfortunately, because people responded to me on Twitter about it, it was just a little too late for a defensive possession like that. I just wanted to bring that up. I thought that was a great defensive play by the Suns. And we saw a lot of possessions like that tonight. And in all fairness, the Nuggets defense was pretty good too. This was just a game of the Suns missing shots. I mean, I really feel like that's the biggest story of the night was just the Suns couldn't hit a shot to save their life. Monty Williams just sticks to his favorites. It's currently biting us in the butt. And like you said, the Suns media should be asking those questions to Monty. Exactly. I thought about that and I kind of wanted to tweet it out, but I wasn't sure how people were going to react to that. But I think the media should do it. I think they should say, hey, Monty, you thinking of giving some minutes to Warren or Ross or however you would want to phrase that question, Logan says it doesn't matter who we play off the bench. The chemistry isn't there. Ross and TJ Maxx aren't our saviors. They'll go 1 for 4 from the field too. I don't know, man. I just think they got to at least get a chance, man. Luis says Paul getting hurt doesn't make things easier in the series. Suns are in trouble. I agree with that. I've sort of avoided that conversation. I hope he's okay, man. I hope that he wakes up Friday and is just feeling better. And Suns fans, I just want to just remind you that this is just a 7-game series and just to relax. I know it's tough. I understand we are down 2-0. But it's best of 7 and we're going home. I just want to throw that out there. I think it's unlikely that the Suns shoot the way they did tonight in game 3. And as Victor says, 4 points, bro, 4 points. Like, I agree with that. But if the bench starts shooting, they're going to get better. Like, they have to get better. They have to hit those, they have to start putting the ball in the basket. I don't know, man. Shout out to Bert Rando, 850. Appreciate the generous $10 super chat, man. He says, so I heard this from a few decent sources. Not sure if this is 100% true, but apparently Terrence Ross showed up late to practice in the Clippers series, and Monty punished him for it. If that's true, maybe that's the reason he's not playing. We don't know if that's true, but maybe that's, like, is it a coincidence? You know what I mean? Like, that has to be the reason. Because let me just tell you this, you guys. If Greg Popovich example was our coach, like, and that happened, it wouldn't matter if it was the finals or the playoffs. Greg Popovich would definitely bench that player if that happened. So again, maybe your sources are true that you heard them from. I don't know. But the Ross Warren minutes are a mystery. So maybe that's true. I don't know. Thank you again for the $10 super chat. And thank you, Andrew, for the super chat earlier. And thank you, Iverson Vlogs. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for your generosity. And I hope to meet all of you guys in person one day, because I really do appreciate your generosity with the super chats. Trying to find Iverson Vlogs super chat right here too. Thank you guys so much for your generosity. I appreciate it. That's crazy. I mean, who knows? Andrew, I see your question, but I don't know if I have the brain power right now to answer it. Let's see here. Yeah, Victor says game 3 is a must win. Yeah, it definitely is. It's weird too, because not that this was necessarily a must win, but this was a game you wanted to win. You wanted to go back into Phoenix tied, having the series tied. So game 3, you absolutely have to win it, because history says otherwise. I mean, I think the percentage is like skyrocket of teams winning a 3-0 series or a 3-1 series, The Suns have to win game 3. Monty Williams as a coach has to be better with his adjustments and his rotations. The 3-point shots have to start falling. Heck, I'm going to say it. Kevin Durant has to be better. I don't know if I've said that since we traded for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant has to be better. Even though Deandre Ayton had a great game, I thought, Deandre Ayton has to be better. Devin Booker cannot do this alone. Our bench has to be more consistent. Fingers crossed that Chris Paul is healthy and can give us 90% of Chris Paul if he does play. Bismack Biyombo, Jock Landale have to be better coming off the bench as backup bigs. Torrey Craig has to step up. I mean, where is that Torrey Craig in the first 4 games of the Clippers series, where he was averaging like 16 on great shooting and playing great defense? Thank you, Maya. I appreciate it. Victor says, I still believe in the Suns, but damn, an uphill battle. And that's fair. I mean, Suns fans, even though I'm saying on Twitter, it's a 7-game series and all that, your feelings are right. I understand. I get it, Suns fans. I'm here for you, Suns fans. I get it. I'm feeling the same way, but maybe I'm just a little crazy in the head. Maybe I'm a little optimistic. We only lost by 10 and we shot horrific. This was probably one of the worst playoff shooting games in league history, and we only lost by 10. And yeah, there were some things that went the Nuggets' way, and maybe Jamal Murray in game 3 has another terrible game. But we need to have better. You know what? Even though I thought our defense was great throughout most of the game, our defense needs to be better throughout all 4 quarters. We can't run out of gas like we did in the 4th quarter. And what did I say at the very start of the show? You cannot start the 4th quarter shooting 0 for 9. You cannot start the 4th quarter shooting 0 for 9. I just put a certain comment in timeout because that was a bad comment. Anyways, Monty, Ayton was embarrassed. Monty, Ayton was embarrassed by his performance in game 1. Ayton, game 2 will be different. Ayton proceeds to have the exact same game in game 1, but had 4 turnovers, and Jokic at 39, 16, and 5. See, that's why basketball doesn't make sense, man. And that's why I'm saying, the Ayton needs to be better. The whole Suns team needs to be better, man. And you know what? I love Ayton and everything, but that's why I said that Nikola Jokic is a 2-time MVP for a reason. He's a superstar. Do you guys remember when that Nick Wright or whatever on ESPN or whatever show he does was like, Jokic is the worst MVP out of all the MVPs that I've ever won. I'm like, dude, you clearly don't know NBA history. Like, I mean, I'm not saying Jokic is the greatest MVP of all time, but he's not the worst. Like, and I think tonight's game proved that. He proved that he's levels above, you know, an Ayton, for example, or other great centers in this league. But that comment's hilarious. I had to read it. That's so good, man. I love you guys, man. Just remember, you guys, we're Suns fans. This is what we do here. We all suffer. We all suffer together. We all take the pain together, man. Oh God, I can't anymore. Let's just read some comments, y'all, and then we're gonna wrap this up. If you guys got any questions, comments, concerns, put them in the comments right now, you guys. I Am Technique says, when the Suns were barely beating a solo Westbrook Clippers team, I think that was a premonition of what was to come. Really disappointed in Monty. Thought he had something new for game 2. Well, I hope he has something new for game 3, because it's just not working, man. What made me laugh is Murray goes off in game 1 and he's like, believe in me. And then this game 4, and then in this game, 4 points in the beginning. Exactly. Top Notch says, what's up, my man? Top Notch, appreciate you being here, man. The biggest Russell Westbrook fan I've ever met. Great content creator, too. Got a huge following on TikTok and everything. He was on the Game 5 Suns Clippers post-game show, so go check that out if you guys want to. Andrew Tate says, tomorrow they will announce the MVP for 2022 and 2023. I hope that Joel Embiid wins it, by the way. Top Notch says, have a good stream, dog. Appreciate you being here, man. Winning 4 out of 5 games is going to be very difficult because Denver is deep. Our bench is terrible. And the team's overall defense is inconsistent. Mark, that's sad, but it's true. You always seem to have like those comments throughout these shows that are just you spitting facts, man. Appreciate that. All right, let's see. Arizona sports fans, heartbreak since day one. Ayton was the number 1 pick. He needs to step up. Let's see. So Matthew asked a good question here. And we've had this conversation before. I've talked about it with the Suns Jam Session podcast, which, by the way, that's great. Those are my friends over there. They do a great job. Okay. I think it's unlikely. Maybe I'm an optimistic, biased, crazy Suns fan. I think it's unlikely we get swept. God forbid we lose the NBA gods forbid that we lose this series. If we lose this series, I think that's when you put Monty on the hot seat. You know what I mean? Because and look, I know there's a lot of big football fans out there. I know nothing about football, but I do know this. Just like in the NBA, just like in most sports, especially in football, coaches always go first, especially in the NBA. So we've been having this conversation. I don't know if this is going to be the last time we're going to have this conversation. I don't know if he gets fired, but I will say that his seat should be boiling if we lose this series. And I guess you could throw in there, we got a new owner now, who he's been incredible, by the way. If you haven't been following the whole Matt Ishbia stuff, new owner, maybe he's already brought in some of his guys. Maybe he starts bringing in more, and then maybe we see a coaching change. I don't know, but I will just throw this out there, though, in Monty's defense. And again, eventually, if you don't win a championship, if you don't go bring us back to the finals, yeah, you got to cut the cord and everything. I will just say this, though. Devin Booker had five coaches in 5 years, or like 5 or 6 coaches in 5 years. Just throwing that out there. I don't know, but I do know that this won't be the last time we have this conversation, about Monty potentially getting fired. Business Decision Sports says no need to panic. This is the same situation the Dubs was just in. Exactly, you guys. It's a 7-game series, y'all. Now, if we lose game 3, yeah, I'm going to be heated. I'm going to be a completely different Suns geek in the game 3 show if we lose that. But the only positive thing Monty Williams has done was bench Shamet, but unfortunately he played Lee 25 minutes and he didn't score, was 0 for 5. I feel like he can still blah, blah, blah. I feel like he still can't adjust on the fly, which is again why Monty Williams needs to be different. Logan, you're on one today, man. Can we talk about how we may have just watched CP3's last minutes in the Suns uniform? I wouldn't go that far, Suns fans. I don't see Chris Paul going anywhere. Maybe I'm alone on that. You know, I mean, he's still, I want to say his contract is half guaranteed next year. I think it's like $15 million next year. And sure, let's say campaign continues to struggle. You maybe want to address the backup point guard or maybe a future point guard going forward. I miss you, Tyrese Halliburton. I wish we would have drafted you. But anyways, you guys get my point though. Like, maybe you have to start having that conversation, but I feel like Chris Paul, assuming he at least stays 90% healthy, probably will finish his contract out. Now, I believe he'll be 40 when his contract's done, maybe 39. But yeah, I don't think that this is his last minutes in the Suns uniform. Just saying. That's just me. Gray Jedi 20 says Kevin Durant needs to hit his shots for real. You see, guys, that's what I'm talking about. And I agree with you. Like, Kevin Durant is the kind of scorer where he can have an off night shooting and still somehow put points on the board. But as I said earlier in the show, it doesn't feel as impactful on the game. And we saw that throughout the Clippers series. He would have like his 25 points, 29 points, whatever points. But Booker was what like stood out, and his production and his consistency, kind of like tonight. And I agree with this comment from Gray Jedi. Kevin Durant needs to hit his shots for real. Okay, let's see. We're just gonna get to a few more comments, you guys, and then we will probably wrap up the show. This has been a great show, everybody. I just decided to go solo tonight, and I think it was the right choice. But I'll probably have some more guests on throughout the rest of the series. Okay, let's see. One thing might be a difference maker in game 3, the foul calls. Felt like the Suns were getting no calls in the 4th, but maybe that's just me being a Suns fan. Thank you for bringing that up, Technique. Before we get out of here, I want to react to a couple of things here. One call that I think sort of went viral here. It was a missed call on Devin Booker. I'm just scrolling down my Twitter trying to find it. Here it is. So this is from Rate the Refs app on Twitter. I think that's funny. Let me just share my screen. I'm sorry, you guys. Share. Follow me on Twitter, by the way, you guys, at Suns Geek on YouTube. So, and let me just make sure it looks okay. So yeah, Booker's driving in here, and I'm kind of playing this slow. Drives in. Christian Braun looks like he gets him on the wrist right there, sort of. But then, like, Jeff Green's right there. He definitely got him a little bit. Christian Braun trying to take the ball out of his hands. There's contact right there, especially from Jeff Green. Booker misses the shot. So I'll play it in full speed so you guys can see it. This clip kind of went viral, I thought. And it wasn't just this play in particular. There's some other, like, bad calls and everything that probably should have swung Suns' way, but I just wanted to react to that. And I feel like since Monty's little rant after that Lakers game where the Lakers went to the free throw line like 46 times, there have been some games here and there that have been well officiated, but what was it like in game 3? The Suns went to the free throw line like 46 times. I don't know. But tonight, I feel like the officiating was pretty bad and kind of maybe on both sides. I don't know. Like, this was just the referees being the referees. This is just what they do. Also, I wanted to talk about this. And I saw some people tweeting about this, and I 100% agreed with them. You guys remember when, like, I think there was like a call on Devin Booker or something, or it might have been some kind of call on Bruce Brown. But what I'm getting at here is the way that Bruce Brown reacted to it. He like started screaming at the referee and was throwing his hands up, and I think a player had to kind of like hold him off for a minute. I saw a few tweets saying like, if Devin Booker reacted like that, he would have gotten a T. That is what is kind of, excuse my language here, that is what's bullshit sometimes about this league and the way the referees treat the Suns. Is like, if Devin Booker did that, if Devin Booker reacted the way that like a Bruce Brown reacted, we would have gotten a T or whatever the case may be, a fine or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you can tell that the refs sometimes have an agenda. They have their favorites. Monty Williams has even talked about that, about like player relationships with older referees in this league. But I thought that was ridiculous. That was definitely like a flew over their head moment where, like, again, if Booker reacted the way that Bruce Brown did. So I don't know, man. I hope that the officiating's better. I hope that everybody but Devin Booker's better. You know what I mean? Including you, Kevin Durant. I hope that Monty Williams is better. Josh Okogie, et cetera, et cetera. Just checking my Twitter here to make sure I don't lose anything or miss anything, I should say. Monty Williams said, we've got to go home and take care of business. Yeah, so I think that's it, you guys. I think I'm done. I think I've said everything I've wanted to say. Pretty much, you guys, just thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to be here with me, Suns Geek. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for all the support on the recent videos. I've been trying to upload like actual Suns news videos, like videos that I did like a long time ago on this channel, because I've been doing like a lot of live shows, and I've been trying to step up the content for you, for all of you guys. I've been doing my YouTube Shorts videos and doing the post-game live shows, and I know that there's a lot of great Suns content out there. I know that there's a lot of bigger Suns creators out there, if you will, but the fact that you guys choose to listen to me, I really appreciate it. If you guys are watching afterwards, I truly appreciate you guys. Thank you for everybody who was generous enough to donate the super chats. That means the world to me. I love you guys. And I love all of you. Thanks for being here. We just got to hope that we have a better game 3, y'all. Fingers crossed. I pray that Chris Paul's okay. And again, just thank you guys so much for the support. So I'm out of here, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your nights. Have a great rest of the week. I love you guys. God bless you guys. We will see you guys Friday after the game. And as Gref's Burner, I hope I said that right, Girth's Burner says, no matter what, Suns forever. Amen to that. Win or lose, Phoenix Suns for life. And if it has to deal with the Phoenix Suns, I'm going to make a video about it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. That's what we do on this channel, Logan. That's what we do on this channel.
What's up, Suns Geek?